Hi, my name's Keith Cooper for Northlight Images, and in this video I'm going to address a question that I was asked the other day, and it led me to ask myself, are my prints too big to sell? Do I make too big prints? The reason I thought of this was because somebody asked me, they said, what size are fine art prints, photo prints and the like? So we'll ignore any definitions of fine art or anything like that, but I'm just going to say general in selling prints of photos and the like, and other artworks as well. And the reason I couldn't ask, I said, well, yeah, the answer is how long's a piece of string? That's how big whatever size will sell. And that's what got me thinking about what sizes work best. Now, I've got lots of videos I've done over the past few years looking at the business aspects of selling prints, making bigger prints, and actually just all my printer reviews and things. But it still comes down to when you make it, if cost is not a significant issue, and cost always will be an issue, and I'll come back to some aspects of that, but if cost is not an issue, then big prints look great. Very big prints. There's one I did that's 14 meters long. There's another one me when I was testing a printer. Now I'm lucky in that I get to test big printers, so it's easy for me to produce large prints like this. But I have also sold large prints, some very large prints. There's one here in a hotel. Now, I didn't print this, I produced the image to be printed for it. And there's another one there, and there's a print on a stairway. I've done a video about the making of this one here, but that's my dad looking at it. It was in a restaurant somewhere. They asked for a print that size. Well, that's fair enough if you know that you've got a space to fill and that you're going to be making a print for it. But in general, let's say you're thinking, well, I want to sell a range of prints. What works best? What sells best? And this comes down to the tricky one that nobody ever asks. What is the market? Who wants to buy my prints? And the number of times I've said this is that if you don't know who wants to buy your prints, how do you know whether the content you're producing will sell? Because if nobody wants to buy them, nobody wants to buy them. And then there's the other bit. I've got some of these large prints here around the house. They're in frames, and we rotate them, and the different ones. So there's lots of large prints here. I don't personally like small prints. However, I was talking a couple of years ago to a lady who ran a gallery in a small seaside town in Wales. And I said, well, what actually sells? And she said, I hate this, but the best-selling ones are A4 size or thereabouts, letter or there. So small prints like this. And I said, why do you dislike that? She said, well, in a way it doesn't show the pictures off to their best, but it's what her market wanted, what they could afford. I said, do you sell any larger prints? Sold a few A3 and A3 plus. So A3 that big, A3 plus so big, 13 by 19. So yes, occasionally, but she said very occasionally compared to the number of smaller prints. So in a way, yes, if I wanted to sell volumes of prints, my prints are too big. And there is the problem that an image that works well at the size of, let's say, this flower here. Now, this doesn't look too bad when printed at a smaller size. It's quite interesting. The detail in it looks good. If I can get it the right way up, yes, it is. That looks quite interesting as a print. That will work as a smaller shot. That might work as a postcard as well. So if you're going to be selling stuff, look at other media as well. So cards and small prints as that. And if you really want to get into it and you've got the right sorts of photos and the right sort of market, look at putting your photos on other items. I don't have any specific objection to photographs of mine being put onto mugs or anything like that if it sells, if it makes a profit, if it fits in. But I don't do that sort of printing. I produce bespoke pictures. The vast majority of my industrial architectural and architectural photography never gets printed. Yes, I get prints occasionally and they go to clients and they have them in boardrooms and things like that. But that original question that I was asked, what size should you print? Well, the size you can sell. and then look for other sizes and see if they can sell as well. And it's as simple as that. You need to know your market. So I produce these big prints, and the reason, well, because I can, but also because I know that the likelihood of them selling is relatively slim. Now, this particular one was when I was testing Hahnemüller's metallic glossy, or it's a metallic paper, and it's a really nice paper, but very tricky to find images that work on. I produced some shots of pictures inside Wells Cathedral and things like that, and I've sold a few. Well, that's great. I don't expect necessarily to sell prints very often from this, but if you do, you need to work out the business side of it. At least someone was asking what size prints. They didn't lead with asking what printer is best for it. Now, I've got lots of stuff on printers, but almost always, if the first question you ask me is what printer is best for X, then you're asking probably the wrong question. Unless you're defining what your need is very tightly, it's very difficult to say anything. Hence my standard answer of, get yourself a P20,000. Oh, did I not mention it won't fit in most houses? Never mind. You should have been more specific. But yeah, that's what you do with that. But the really big thing of it is, who's going to buy it? Now, I've got loads of other videos and stuff like this, but answering just that one specific question, yeah, are my prints too big? No, I'd like to make them bigger. I've just got nowhere to put them. I like big prints. Big prints changes, and I mentioned this the other day in a video, composition is different in large prints. The way subjects are addressed, the structure of the image, the way people look at images is very different. People look at images very differently at this size to that size. Just something you have to sort of experiment with. But until then, I will keep making big prints because, no, they're not too big. They're too big to conveniently store. There's loads of them in this, but I have got even bigger ones which are still stored in rolled up tubes. Must find a use for them one day. Anyway, hope that's of interest. Please do ask questions like that, since that's what gives me ideas for these short videos. And thanks for watching. Bye.